My name is Mayela Lopez-Ford. The first ever experience that I could remember happened when I was in middle school. I lived in Douglas, Arizona at the time. And one morning I had gone out to the backyard to play with our dog. I had a little bit of time before I had to start walking to school. And while I was back there, I heard my dad leave for the day. And I guess he didn't realize that I was out there, so he had locked the door. So after a few minutes, when it was time for me to go in and grab my backpack so I could start walking to school, of course the door was locked and I couldn't get in. My mom was in the shower, or I thought she was in the shower. My sister wasn't home at the time. She had spent the night at my grandparents' home, and I had no way of getting a hold of my dad. So I knocked on the door thinking maybe my mom was out of the shower. She wasn't. So I waited a couple minutes, knocked again, still nothing. So I'm standing there in the carport outside, it's bright daylight. It's like, I don't know, maybe probably sometime after 7 in the morning. And I'm just standing there minding my own business, waiting so that I could knock again. And right next to me, like right next to my right ear, I heard a voice, and it was a very deep, guttural voice. Like, the only way I can describe it is it almost reminded me of like something you'd hear like in a very scary movie, like a demon voice in a scary movie. And it said, "Mayela, I'm going to kill you." And after hearing it, I kind of froze. I think I was like, I wasn't scared. It was more like shock or disbelief, because I wasn't sure if I'd heard that or not. So I turned to look, and there's nobody there. So I was like, I'm still trying to think logically. Okay, somebody's playing tricks on me. So I walked down the driveway, looked up and down the street, didn't see anyone. And I didn't know what to think of it. I thought for sure someone was playing a trick on me. And so the only people I told were like my two best friends and my sister at the time. And it stayed with me for like the next few days. And it was all I could think about. And, I was trying to make sense of it. And the more I thought of it, the more it seemed that it hadn't been caused by any human. And the reason was because this house that we lived in, the block that we lived in, it only had a few houses on it. And those houses were further down from us. So we were basically surrounded by desert. It was like cactus and mesquite trees and just like dead, dried up stuff everywhere. And also our street wasn't paved. So if someone had tried running or walking down the street, I would have heard them, because there was like a thick layer of like I don't even know what it's called. It's like the black gravel that they lay down before they pour the stuff to make the street. And it was a thick layer of that. So, I would have heard or seen someone running down the street. If anyone had tried running on either side of the house, I would have heard them, because it was just filled with dead, dry leaves and twigs and all the stuff that grows in the desert. We were surrounded by it, and it was all dry. And also our dog, the dog we had at the time, he barked at everyone and everything. I used to catch him barking like at lizards running through the yard, birds hanging out in the backyard. And if anyone ever passed by the house, he would bark at them. As soon as he heard them or saw them, he would bark at them, and we couldn't get him to stop. And he would not stop until they had completely passed and he could no longer hear them or see them. And that day, there was no barking. He didn't bark at anyone. So to this day, I don't know where that voice came from. I never heard it again. I could not explain it.